Yeah, thanks for waiting, Alessandro. And yeah, I'll just quickly get back to the chess tournament again. So it's in November. I'm going to book a hotel to go there. It's about a 2 hour drive away. And there's two sections. There's a premier section, and there's an under 1600 section. Um, and maybe I'm curious about your thoughts about this. In the past, I've always gone in the lowest section I'm eligible
Yeah.
for because I feel like because I don't know in the tournaments here you can pay a little bit extra to play in the section above. Um, and normally I don't do that because I feel that I will get there when I deserve to get there. But I'm wondering about now with the pandemic, so many underrated kids that are rated like 500, 600, but they're like 2200 on chess.com, you know. So I don't know. I'm kind of considering moving up a section. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that underrated problem is going to be a problem with little kids. They just develop way faster than they have time to actually play tournaments. So from tournament to the other, it's a big difference in their level. Um, well, probably I think you should take a look at the higher section. Try to see what the standard is. If there are 1700, 1800 players, I think you should play. I mean, you're not that far away from that. In any case, you can perfectly play against them and win games. So
The,
I don't think it's yeah.
yeah, like what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of waiting to see who enters. Um, but the problem is uh, if I play against someone rated 900, I won't even get any points if I win. Like I'll get no points if I win, but if I lose, I'll lose a million points. So there's like almost there's no point in playing them. It's like, and then I'm driving 2 hours, getting an expensive hotel, and you know all of that expense and time. And then what's the point if I can't even gain rating?
I mean, for it to be a good learning experience, and I mean to get actual tournament-based experience, um, it would be ideal that you play the higher section. Mm. The only thing you have to check is if there isn't just too big a gap with the guys playing in the higher section. I mean, if you tell me that they are all 2300s,
No,
2400s, well,
no,
then
the average rating will probably be like 1800.
that's great.
So
I
that's
think
about 1700 FIDE.
that's a good target for you. I mean, you normally want to play against people that play somewhat better than you, not a lot better, because then you don't
Mm-hmm.
get a rich game enough to
Mm-hmm.
actually get something out of it. Um, if it's too easy, then it also is quite demotivating.
Yeah,
Demotivation.
the nice
Uh,
thing about the tournament is there's two sections, but there's prizes for different categories. So in the in the premier section, there is a prize for under 1800. Yeah, so
well,
even if I score, it's only a 5 rounds, but even if I score 2 points, maybe that's enough to win under 1800 section. So yeah,
even then.
yeah, and then there's another tournament in January, um, and there's also another tournament in November, but it's a very long drive. It's about 10, 12 hour drive, and yeah, and so I won't do that. That's too far for me. But it's a very strong tournament, uh, and um, it's FIDE rated, which would be cool because then I would have to win. I would have to win to get the points, but I don't have a FIDE rating, so that would be kind of cool. Anyways, I'll leave things up to you here.
I mean, just to recap and
Hmm.
to cap off, I think you should play the higher section if you're going to get rich gains because especially since it's only a 5 rounder, imagine just driving all the way there to
Yeah.
play one or two interesting games.
Yeah.
I mean, best case scenario. Um, that's probably not even worth it. So yeah, if the average rating is 1800, it's a good target for you.
Yeah, and I've gotten frustrated. Like I played like 10 tournaments in 2019, and I got so frustrated because all my opponents are little kids that are rated like 800, and all it takes is one draw, and then you lose rating, right? Like yeah, even if you score 5.5 out of 5, you can still lose rating points. In fact, I saw some players who scored like 5 out of 5, and they gained no points. Yeah,
No,
so
yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, and in the under 1600 section right now, um, I think the average rating is about 800, 900 right now. So, but they're still strong. They're like they're probably like 2100 Lichess.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're facing, what you're up against.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, thanks for that advice. I was kind of leaning towards playing up, and it's only $20 extra, so it's not,
Oh,
yeah, it's not a big deal. And the other
um,
nice thing about moving up is there's no pressure, right? When you're in the low section, I would be one of the highest seeded players, so I have to win every game or I'm going to lose points. If I go up a section, potentially I only have to win one game and I might gain points.
and you're probably focusing on the right stuff. You're probably going to play the best chess you can, and that's it. Which is great. That should be the main idea of playing over the board tournaments right now. Getting better, improving. If you're up against well, a bunch of players you're supposed to beat, yeah, then you're only building up pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't lead to bringing out your best chess.
Yeah, and then maybe I can upset somebody else, and that's always fun. You
Yeah,
know.
that's the best feeling. um, well, you see, this position is a bit of a mess. It makes sense because it's a composition, it's a study.
Oh well, I'm in the Alpha Anderson
Oh,
Potkin game.
that's all. I'm on chapter 8.
Okay, I'm there.
Oh,
I'm there now.
yeah.
Okay.
Today, the computer is
Is
paying a
your
lot
is
of
your
trick.
is your sync on at the bottom of the study? Sync.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all. I mean, it's always on by default,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
yeah,
Let's just see if I make a move. Does that update for you?
no,
Oh,
I'm not
that's
seeing the move.
that's yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
moved the bishop.
That's quite odd. Now I see it.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Um, well, it's black to play. Well, I'm sorry, it's white to play. um, of course, you have this passed pawn, but you also have this bishop hanging. The, the black king is really close to your queenside pawn, so that might be a problem. Um, well, I'm going to leave you a couple of minutes to calculate. um,
Is this a famous game? Do we know the
no,
players? Oh, it's a
it's a
study, a
composition. Yeah,
composition.
it's a
Okay.
study. Yeah, by
Who composed it? Do we know?
Troitsky.
Oh, Troitsky.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he has amazing puzzles.
So white
The
to
audience
move.
might want to solve this at home too. It's very beautiful.
Okay, let me think. I will vocalize what I'm thinking here. So just trying to get in a grasp of the position. Um, but these composed puzzles are always so tricky. Um,
At least you can expect uh, that there is some trick.
Yeah.
There.
So I don't think we're trying to draw. I think white is looking for a win because this looks to be an advantage for white. Okay. So let's see. There's so much to consider here. Well, let's. Yeah, I'm expecting the unexpected. That's why. Okay, so
Well,
let's look. Okay, first of all, I'm going to look at rook a1 because if b5 is mined, so he can't go to b5, and therefore he only has two squares to go to. So he's got b3 and b4. If he goes to b3, we have rook a3, which I'm not sure is necessarily good if we want to trade rooks there.
it's actually winning. I mean, if king b3, rook a3,
Then maybe.
Yeah, what happens there?
Well, he can't go to b4 because we have bishop e2, and if he goes to c2. Oh, if he goes to c2, I think we can take and then play e7 and then bishop d7. So.
Yeah, but that might not work because the black king is so close to these pawns that it just.
Well, no. I'm saying rook a1 and king b3, yeah. Rook a3, and if king c2, then rook takes d3, king takes d3, and then e7. And then if
bishop here.
Yeah, and then bishop d7. So that's why he can't go to.
But the black king is so close to the pawns that even by giving up the bishop, you can take these 2 pawns and make a draw. And king d4, e8, queen, bishop takes queen, bishop takes.
No, but how?
Takes c5.
No, but after rook a1. How can he move his and then rook a3,
rook a3, king c2,
and then rook takes d3,
king takes,
and then e7,
bishop f7,
and then bishop d7, king d4. The king is I just queen.
Yeah, queen, bishop takes queen.
Oh, and then, bishop takes I see what you're
saying. Yeah, you don't have enough pawns. The c5 pawn is falling, and then, but after king c2, I mean, rook a3 check, king c2, you have a winning move. You'd spot it if the position was
bishop f5.
Yeah, that's another pin. So after rook a1 check, king b3 doesn't work.
Okay, so he has to go to b4. So rook a1, king b4. That's leading nowhere quick.
That's the good. It's sad. But you notice already that black king is in some sort of trouble because he can't go king b5 now. That's important. That's a valuable piece of information. What other candidates on the very first move can you think about? Just trying to apply the candidate move. Technique.
Okay, well, let's look at rook f4. So now he can't go to b4. So rook f4, he only had, now he has king b3. So king b3.
what's your big asset in this position? What's the factor that makes you think you can actually win this?
Well, there's multiple. Like I really like the pawn. Now, obviously, we have this beautiful passed pawn on e6, ready to queen. But our bishop is also extremely powerful here. But yeah, the main difference between our position is this pawn that is 2 squares from queening.
Yeah, we have to make that work.
Yeah, well, if we play e7 to start, there's rook e3.
Exactly. That's a big difference. If you play e7 right away, after rook e3, there's no rook check because now we can go to b5 quite comfortably.
So if we start with rook e1.
Rook e1, pawn takes.
Yeah, e7.
And we stop the pawn.
Yeah.
But you were analyzing rook f4 check.
Yeah.
e3, and we haven't exhausted that one. That seems to be pretty forcing, so...
okay, so rook f4, king b3, bishop d1, rook takes d1, and then e7. No, wait. No, e7, rook e1. So then maybe we go rook e4 instead.
Rook e4.
Yes.
Well, then at the very least, I can just give up the bishop. Black is not losing. It's actually quite on the contrary. He's taking on b2. This passed pawn is a problem. After rook f4, king b3, what other candidate apart from giving the bishop right away?
I'm looking at e7. So rook f4, king b3, e7.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's very forcing. There's only one reasonable move there.
Rook e3. Rook e3. And then... So let me just do this again. So rook f4, king b3, e7, rook e3.
Then you have a little tactic to try and promote that pawn.
Oh, that's in your end. I can't tell if that was a motor, a car outside my street, or yeah, because it sounds so realistic. So I was looking out the window there. I don't know. I'm looking for a square for my bishop, right? Because it seems like our bishop could do something. Rook d1 doesn't seem to help. And then I was looking at like.
No, actually, after rook f4, king b3. E7, rook e3, that's the position.
I was looking at bishop d1. I mean, bishop d1 check, but that doesn't do anything. And then I was looking at bishop e6, but he just takes with the rook. So there's a tactic in that position.
There is a reason why we made black's king walk towards b3. We wanted the king. We kind of deflected the king.
I'm trying to get the rook back to a3 there.
No, that's too time consuming.
Yeah, because I'm trying to skewer that you know.
Well, his rook is the problem, but now the king on b3 is in bad position. Actually, you have a tactic against that rook on e3, thanks to the bad position of the king on b3. I mean, you can achieve the skewer with rook a3, but you can achieve the exact opposite of the skewer.
Okay, so, well, then I could go king f3, so a pin. But
Rook
that,
f3.
yeah, but I mean, he just takes. Oh wait, wait. Yeah, that we don't have to take back. But
yeah, exactly.
But wait, our bit. But can't he just go? He could just go back to rook e3 though. So so rook f4, king b3. E7. I forgot we moved e7. Okay, and then bishop rook e3, then rook f3, and yeah, rook takes, bishop takes, and bishop f7, and then bishop takes c6.
Don't hurry that much, because after rook takes, we can promote right away. If you take, then it's the same problem as always. He stops the pawn, and we don't have enough pawns to win this. If he can give this bishop for our passed pawn, we need to promote it. That's the main
so
problem
even
here.
if we're up a bishop, that's not winning? I guess not.
Probably not, because this one is falling and this one is on the dark square, so...
Okay. Yeah, we'd be fighting for a draw. Okay.
Yeah. After rook takes f3, you can promote. E8 queen. The beauty of it is that the bishop is being threatened and the rook too. So if h takes g4, you just take the bishop and you're up a queen. And now effectively win.
Oh man, yeah.
Actually, you
yeah, the real key move there for me is rook f3. That's
rook f3.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a composition if it was so simple. What happens after rook f3? Are black's resources exhausted?
There's a check. There's bishop d5 check.
Bishop d5. Actually, it's a pin.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, so that doesn't work. Wait, there's no way. There's no way black's got anything here.
Actually, this bishop now has this diagonal. I mean, the pawn is on e7 already. So
what? I don't see.
So we have a rook on f3 and a king on g2. These two are lined up. So that the rook on f3 can also be subject to a pin.
Yeah, but I mean, if bishop d5, white just queens.
And E8 loses on the spot. Well, almost on the spot. I mean, you can take right away, but you have an intermediate move before taking the queen. I mean, black does.
Oh, so just, I guess bishop f3, check.
Yeah. It's check. And you're taking out the piece that was pinning your rook. So bishop takes f3 check, bishop takes, rook takes e8. Black is winning on the side. Yeah, so bishop d5 seems to be turning tables. But not quite. White also finds some incredible results that, yeah, this is the move of the study.
Okay, so, but we're following that same line, right? With bishop d5?
Yeah,
and okay, so
f3, bishop d5.
And then bishop f3?
I'll tell you.
Are we following with bishop f3? After bishop d5? Sorry, after bishop d5, queen. Are we following this line still?
No, if queen, he takes with check, and then he wins the queen, and he's totally winning. So we can actually promote.
Okay, so bishop d5 and then white to move.
Yeah. I'll tell you to recap that line so that you're sure where every piece is, because the move is quite astonishing.
So bishop d5. I'm just wondering about giving a check, like a check on e2, like rook e2 check.
But that's impossible. One thing is that the rook is pinned. The rook on e3.
Sorry.
And the other one is white to play.
Yeah. I'm confused. Yeah.
Let's try to recap the line.
Okay.
It's rook f4 check.
Yeah. So
king d3.
E7.
Yeah.
And
rook
e3, rook f3, bishop d5, and then white to move.
Exactly. Everyone is pinned, almost everyone.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard. That's the idea.
That's tricky. So what? I don't know. Our bishop is under attack. What if we took? The problem is if we took on h5, then black can just take our pawn on e7. So
yeah, first he has to take the rook with check, and after bishop takes, then rook takes e7.
Yeah.
But he has the resource. Actually, black's threat is exactly that one. He wants to take the rook with check, and then, boom, eliminate the pawn.
Yeah, so if let's say, I mean, if I move the king somewhere, let's just say I move it to b1, then I'm just hanging everything. So, okay, so let's say I go to c2 then. king c2.
F2.
Sorry, king f2, but then h takes g4. But then I'm trying to remember where his rook is. Then I just take, then my king takes on e3. Yeah. So king f2 is looking reasonable.
Yeah, but you're right. After pawn takes, actually you don't have to take with the king. You can take his rook with check. Your rook on f3 is still alive.
No, but I'm saying if we went king f2. Oh, I see. I see. The rook is on f3. Yeah. So okay. So I could just go rook takes e3.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what's wrong with king f2 then?
King f2 is really interesting. I mean, almost works. But you need the bishop now to stop the pawn. I mean, if you take bishop takes f3, king takes c3, and there's no stopping this pawn. I mean, the black bishop is on f3, and he has no way of getting back in time to stop e8. So after king f2, black has to take the rook because it's check. We have rook takes f3 with check. Now that the king is on f2. So bishop takes is the only move. And then we go all the way back to f7 to stop the pawn. And because our bishop is still on d5.
Okay, yeah, but I still like white there. We still have a rook.
No, I just took the rook on f3 with.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, against king f2, I take the rook on f3 with check, with my rook. And after bishop takes f3, we have, well, we both have our bishop now. Only our bishop. And yeah, black has to stop the pawn. So going back to f7 is the only option. And we have a similar scenario. I mean, you can take on c6 and promote, but black is taking these pawns. I mean, the b2 pawn is falling, and this a pawn is running down the a file. So doesn't seem to be enough for white to win. But we're close enough. In fact, I think we should advance to that position because the move is really hard. It's really hard to find. You have gone really far, and it's a tough exercise, but it's very beautiful. E7. Well, there are some options here. He might want to introduce this check, but it's actually not doing that much. After king f2, we take e3 away from the rook, and we're promoting no matter what, so that doesn't really work. So all of this is very forcing up to this point. Actually, the point of this check was to deflect the king to b3, I'm sorry, so that we can pin the rook. And that's the tactical trick. What we were saying is that rook takes, then white promotes. We don't have the time to take the rook. I mean, all these sentence not enough for. I mean, all his pawns are falling, so most likely white has to give his bishop for the remaining pawns, and this pawn is going to fall. So around here, rook f3, bishop d5 seems to be turning the tables on on white. Your move was very interesting. This king f2 is actually quite problematic. Because we're just threatening to take the pin rook and promote. But he comes again with the win of the tempo after taking with check and bishop f7. Same problem we had before. So now the critical position here is...
It still seems close to winning, though, after bishop c6, you know.
Bishop takes around here.
Yeah.
Well, I can think of a simple way to draw this. King b4. I think it's even easier by means of taking this pawn.
And then we can't stop the trade of the A and B pawns.
Yeah, exactly. You just go king here, and a4, a3. You can try to do this, but c5 is coming and c4, so yeah, there's no way you can prevent. Just too many pawns and, well, too little pawn for white. Yeah, so bishop d5 is actually the main try. The move white finds here is nothing short of
I have an idea. What about if bishop d6? If bishop d6 and then he goes rook takes f3. He can't do that because then I go bishop d5. So bishop d6, applying another pin. I'm trying to see why that might not work. Let's say rook e2. Oh, sorry, he's pinned. Yeah, so yeah, just bishop e6, and I don't know what he can do. He's pinned twice into check.
Yeah, bishop e6 is incredible. It's really hard to see from the beginning of this variation. But yeah, it's a counter pin, you might say. All the pieces are pinned. Well, except for this bishop that is the pinner. But yeah, you can't take, of course, because of the pin. If you take, it's check, and the bishop falls, and we promote.
Yeah, and you're
yeah, that's the threat. Bishop takes. Nothing to do, really. In fact, I think the composer still goes king takes b2. Still trying. And now what?
Well, if it was a bullet game, I'd be okay with queening. I think it's still winning, but it'd probably be a lot harder. There's probably a more efficient way to do it, but queening has to be still winning. I would be surprised if it's not still winning, but it's just a headache. Let's see.
Well, it's actually the way. It's very forcing because he's really threatening to take and take here, or to take right away. I mean, he's not pinned anymore, so you have to do something like right now.
Yeah.
And if bishop takes d5, which is tempting, then rook takes c7, you have the same problem. If this pawn disappears, it's a draw. It's really a draw. So yeah, you have to promote. Of course, this was the last try for black, but he's completely lost here. Rook takes c6, and apparently this wins easily. I think the composer gave queen takes h5, and still queen h8 is happening. And if rook e3, you have queen takes d5. And rook e2 check, king f1, hitting the rook right, right in time. Yeah, that's it. But the key move to find here is this amazing bishop e6, when everything seems to be, well, not lost, but at least it seems that black is escaping with the draw in these variations where he gets to stop our pawn. I was really impressed with this. With this composition. It makes sense to solve some of these problems once in a while. I mean, it kind of widens of your vision of what's possible in chess. I mean, it's not like you're going to come across these multiple pins very often in practice. But it really helps your imagination and, of course, your calculation. You have to see very far. The beauty of it is that it makes you force yourself um, to find unexpected resources for you and your opponent too, because you're always thinking, okay, is this the end of the study, or is there is there still something that should be taken into account? Is there some resource? Well, let's go to the other one. To the main theme of the lesson. Do you recognize this game?
Yes, I played this yesterday or the day before. Yeah, I think this was from yesterday. It was from yesterday. I remember this. Okay, I you know, I always analyze my games afterwards. So, and I do have a good idea. I believe. First of all, I believe A5 is good here, and I think generally, or maybe generally is a strong word, but often in an endgame, pawn endgame, I think I've kind of noticed if the pawns are all lined up, it's often very good. It's very versatile, I've noticed. You have a lot of options. But yeah, I believe A5 is good here. First of all, I guess it's black to move.
Yeah, black it was your move here.
Yes, so I'm trying to remember what I played.
You played F6. You undermined the pawn immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, undermining the pawn is a technique. It's a valid technique, but you went for the wrong undermining move.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think F6 was still okay. I think it was still winning for black, if I recall. But then I made some mistakes afterwards. When I played F6, I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted a 3 versus 2 and a 4 versus 3. I wasn't sure which is better. I'm not that well acquainted with that type of pawn majority on, when there's pawn majority on both sides. I'm not sure if 3 versus 2 against 4 versus 3, which is better. But what I remember what ended up happening here is, since it ended up being a 3 versus 2, my king couldn't move, and his king could actually go do whatever he wanted, because my king couldn't really leave this quadrant of the board because of his 3-2 pawn majority.
That's what's going to happen to both after the exchange of these pawns if you play here. You also have to recall with another idea by white, which is 4.
Yeah, I remember the computer said that, and I was surprised about B4. I wouldn't consider B4. That's a very surprising move to me. It just,
it's a very instructive move. Yeah, king activity endgames is paramount.
Yeah, because if we push sorry, go ahead.
He's undermining your structure. I mean, he's totally making his way into your pawn formation with his king, and he gets very active.
Yeah, he just destroys my dark squares immediately.
Yeah. That's why
it's such a good move.
That's why here FIDE makes sense. Because you're preventing this. B4 is also okay.
Yeah, I much prefer A5 though, because it gives me options. B4 fixes my pawns a little bit too much for my liking. I like that I have a lot of options here.
B4 is a fixing move for his pawns too, so it makes sense. I mean, probably after C3, I guess you have to play B4 in any case. But yeah, it's A5 makes sense too, but the main reason is that B4 is kind of a threat for him. And there is a point why F6 is a mistake here. it's not a bad mistake in the sense that you're not losing, but you have a definite advantage in this game, endgame. What do you think your advantage might lie?
Well, I have the 4-3 pawn majority on the queen side. I think also f6 wasn't necessary. I think the f6 wasn't necessary yet because I could do that at any point because I can pop into here. I could triangulate. There's no need to play f6 right now. So, but I guess we had to deal with some like first of all, yeah, this pawn is left behind. It's it's not going to have any benefit to being on, other than reserve tempi. It has no benefit to being on a6. Um, so you're saying what is my advantage? I guess since I have a 4-3 majority, I could technically get a passed pawn on the queen side.
Yeah, but he can say the same about the center and the king side. You both have your own majorities. But his majority is a bit more crippled because you can block the king side actually. And he's a bit overextended. I mean, with f6, you're actually making kind of, yeah, you're forcing him to get rid of potential weakness, which is this e5 pawn. It's just too advanced. That's why I think f6 is the wrong undermining move. You have other undermining moves that might put this guy in danger. Maybe not right away, because I'm not suggesting that you play g5 right now, but at the right time, g5 can be really annoying.
Yeah, I was looking at that, but then I saw g3. I think
let's go.
Yeah, so maybe if not b4 or a5 here, potentially king f5.
King f5. Yeah, and after g3.
I wasn't sure. Maybe king g4.
King g4. Yeah, then we have to calculate this stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's why I would prefer b4 or a5. But if those weren't possible, I was thinking about moving the king up here.
Yeah. And it might do. I mean, you might be able to play this right away. But I think your approach is quite safe. I don't see how white is going to deal with your long-term plan of playing g5 and leaving this guy to its post. That's his main issue. I mean, your move makes perfect sense to me. I don't even see a way for him to prevent your plan with king f5 and g5. For example, if he plays g4, what would you do?
I don't know. I think there's multiple moves here. I don't know. I was looking at d4 check.
D4 check, king 4.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I was thinking f5 check. And then
then you're setting yourself in some danger. I mean, these pawns are You're making his king very active by playing d4, king e4. Then
What
he's
about
threatening.
G5?
This idea I like. G5.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. That's the undermining pawn move we were looking for. And after he plays g4, there's no way he plays g3. So, yeah, this guy on e5,
so
he's going to suffer.
So g5, h3. Then maybe we just take on f4. King takes f4, and then maybe, then we start rolling those pawns on the queen side.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, just e4 maybe, or d4 after. Like g5, h3, g takes f4, king takes f4, and then e4 or d4. Sorry.
Yeah, I would like to get rid of these pawns, because if you do, then he's close to being in suit swung.
Yeah, but how would I do that after g5, h3?
I'll go h5 first.
Oh.
Considering that he can't really take and allow king f5, h4, and this pawn is practically lost. I mean, if he grants access to f5, then he should be losing quite easily.
Oh yeah, we're so close to here.
Yeah. We actually threatened to play h4, d4, and the white king can keep defending that pawn on f4. So he can't really take. I guess he has to stay put. And now we have to consider if we want to play h4 and g5, or if we want to take. Don't know if there's an easy answer to that one.
This looks hard for black now.
But you're doing great. You should be winning here. Or close to it. I mean, every time you play g5, he has to stay put. He can never take, because after king takes, it's like you're pawn up. These two double pawns are not going anywhere. So even by take, playing g5, he's the one who has to be careful.
I like that.
For the rest of the game.
Yeah.
He has to stay put.
So king f3?
Now maybe we can fix
e4. Maybe d4 now?
d4 grants access to this square. You
yeah,
have to be careful about.
But then I take on f4, king takes f4, and then king d5. Looks good.
King d5. g5. c4. Takes. Oh. I'm not sure if d4, king e4, pawn takes, king d5,
yeah,
g5, c4.
Wait. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the white's king is on f4 here, right?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Well, can't we go king d? Oh wait. Our pawn is still on d4. I see. Yeah. So then c4, right? Okay.
Yeah. Pawn takes. I'm liking his seats. Because I'm making you take with the king. But probably shouldn't have played g5. Yeah, I might have to play e6 right away because my idea is that if you take with the king, then I go king e4, hitting the pawn here. Not entirely sure about that. It might work. I mean, it's looking good for you. G takes. This looks dangerous. I mean, if I don't play g5, I don't know what I should play. I mean, you're going c4, d3 anyway. Yeah, this seems to be winning for you. I don't see a way of keeping this pawn alive. I was thinking about this one. C4, takes, b takes, and e6.
Wait, let me just see. Can we just go back here? Oh, it's check.
Check, yeah.
I wonder, yeah.
But this is looking good for you. I mean, I can only think of this as a try. Otherwise, you play d3, pawn takes, king e3, king takes, and this pawn is lost too quickly. So I guess you have to try this. Now we don't take with the pawn, of course, because it's...
No, it'll still work, right? Because we check and then we're in the square.
No, king f5.
Wait. Takes, push, check.
G6.
Yeah, are we still quick enough though? Then we push. We'll both
no,
queen.
But we promote with check.
No, wait. No. We can. Oh, there's no way around it, right? That's too bad. Let me think. So you're saying okay. So takes. Sorry. Yeah. So takes and then G6. Yeah, and then we play e5 check, king f5. That's annoying. Too bad, eh? Okay.
You get there too fast, but you can take with the king.
Wait. Could we?
Trust.
Wait. What if? Oh, okay, it's your queen. Okay, I was thinking here maybe we play. We don't take. we'll both queen. It'd be interesting. But then he's got check here. Skewer.
Yeah.
Okay. Too bad. That's interesting.
Yeah, but you're actually picking up this pawn and this one too. I mean, this is useful for white, and you're promoting too fast. You're winning easily here. King c4, king takes, king b5, f5, king takes f4 already. King b4, f3, and that's it.
Wait, but is it still a draw though? No.
No, the king is way too far from, and the pawn is also way too far.
No, but
c4,
yeah, no. But if we put the white's king here, is this not a draw? It's like because there's some Debretsky.
Oh no, but yeah, this pawn should go to a4, and then the problem is that this king is just too far advanced in front of his own pawn.
Is it?
Actually, this Debretsky rule.
Yeah. It's complicated.
Actually, actually, this pawn is in a great place for black because it hasn't moved from from its original position. You have to take this diagonal into account. If the pawn were on f4, then you might consider that you have chances here.
Yeah,
because the white king can take and go all the way back to here.
So
you have to
what you're describing right now in this chapter. This was one of the very few chapters that was very confusing for me. There's this chapter about this exact situation where one side has two pawns and two of the pawns are rook pawns, and there's some rule about if the pawn is if it's halfway or further. But then there's something to do with diagonals, like you showed. But I don't understand it. It was very confusing. I probably have to read it a bunch of times.
It. If you want, I can explain. After this, I can explain that.
Okay, yeah.
There's this point system that lets you see the position and know if it's a draw or if you're winning. Or
I know it's complicated though, the way he wrote it, you know.
Yeah, but it's really useful. I mean, I see the position and I can say if it's a draw. Or if
I'm happy that I recalled that this type of position from Dvoretsky's endgame manual. I remember he talked about it, but I don't remember how to calculate if it's a win or not.
Yeah, now only, I mean, White's only chance is to go after this pawn, because otherwise you just have this endgame where we're going to promote this pawn with just our king on the pawn. I mean, king e4, here king f4. And this pawn is also so far away that you can consider going after the a pawn. I mean, it just takes forever for the white king to go after the pawn and go back. It's just too much.
Yeah.
That's why this pawn would be better for white if it was more advanced. It's easier to get to the pawn and then get back in time. That's why this diagonal is so important. If we take the pawn f4, for example, then we can run down on a straight line all the way to c1, which is usually a draw against the a pawn.
So it has to be,
that's the reason.
The king has to reach the third file from the edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at what point did it have to reach that?
Imagine that black has a king on a2.
Yeah.
And an a pawn. If you reach c1, it's just a draw. I mean, there's no way he's going to promote this pawn. If he goes king b3, you go king b1, and you get to a1, which is your dream, actually. He can't stay here because you just...
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand where we have to know in this situation where black's king, like where these two pawns and king need to be for white's king to get to c1. For example,
imagine that.
Yeah, okay. So
we play this endgame very badly for black. This is a very bad move, even though it should be still winning. It's still winning. Let's imagine he plays it. He goes like this. Here, king takes, king c1, king b3. Even if it were black to play, this is a draw. With the king already on c1, the only winning position actually for black is with the pawn a3 and he plays a2, so you don't get to play king b1. Otherwise, it's just a draw. I mean, he can go king a2 if it was his turn, but you corner his king. Can't get away from that. Just keep playing king c2 and king c1. That's why it's so important for white to be able to return in time to c1. Once you get there, it's a draw.
So we don't actually care where black's king is as long as we get to c1.
Yeah, exactly. If you get to c1, then it's a draw. If you get to d2 and he plays king b2, then you're in trouble. He's already cornered your king. He's shouldering your king, and he gets to promote the pawn. So yeah, this diagonal is vital for you to go all the way back after capturing the opponent's pawn. But yeah, it's a complicated endgame, and actually it's not that frequent. I never had it on the board. But yeah, here black is winning easily. So yeah, I think your approach also works. But the main point here is that maybe in the endgame you went for the wrong undermining move. f6 actually lets him get rid of his worst weakness, which is this pawn. This pawn is his problem in the future.
I thought that was his best pawn. That's why I wanted to get rid of it. I was scared of it I was scared that somehow it would become a passed pawn, and then I have to babysit it with my king. So I wanted to get rid of that advanced pawn. I thought it was his best pawn.
If he gets rolling, I mean, if you go d4, king e4, yeah, then you should be afraid of the e5 pawn if he gets to play g4 and f5, for example. Otherwise, you can try to undermine the support of the advanced pawn. The problem with advanced pawns is exactly that. It gets harder and harder to actually support them. And here you have some nice blockading squares on the king side. F5 is a great square for your king, where you're already putting some strain on the defense of the e5 pawn. And that coupled with g5, for example, and the undermining move, that can create a lot of a lot of problems for white here. In the actual game went, I'm sorry, let me go. Yeah, f4, f6, and yeah, that kind of lets him set up this screen. I mean, you can't activate your king anymore, and you have no targets. I mean, this is probably a draw if both just stand still, because yeah, you both have all the important entry squares of the kings just covered. You probably have to play b4 or a5 so that b4 is not a threat. It could be a big problem. You played h5 here. Well, still.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do here.
I'm wondering about this. At the very least, it should be checked. I don't know if it works or not, but probably doesn't, because you also get to run towards this pawn. And before he takes, he played h3, which makes sense. But h4 is most definitely a mistake. He still has your king very restricted, and now I guess b4 should be strong. King activity is paramount in these endgames, in pawn endgames, because there are no other pieces, and the king in these endgames, it's worth more than a minor piece. That's usually what they say. Here he's infiltrating your position. Yeah, I guess this should be at the very least tough defense. Well, not even that. I mean, your pawns are really weak. Yeah, this breakthrough is a nice resource. He also missed it. It's not so easy to spot, really. In fact, he prepared it. It's funny because he prepared to give that blow. And after a5, he actually went for b4. But this time around, you can create your own passed pawn, and he's the one who has to be careful.
Oh, I think I remember. I was still winning. I had a winning opportunity.
Yeah.
I remember now. It's coming up in a couple moves. Yeah. You know what? I was literally looking. I was calculating this exact move so many times, and for some reason I didn't go for it. So d4, and there were a couple opportunities to do it, like triangulation into d4. I remember the eval bar, and multiple chances to do this, and I saw this, but then I abandoned it because this is another Dvoretsky endgame idea of the floating square. That's basically right. The floating square of these two pawns are at the end of the board. But I thought because of his c pawn that didn't work, and I kind of abandoned the idea, unfortunately. But yeah, d4. I had d4 winning.
Yeah, d4 or even king d6. It would be very nice to play d4 with this king already on b2.
Yeah. I had at least two chances to do that.
it's funny because you can even give up the 8 pawn. I mean, if king c3, d4 check, the king just gets out of the game after this. This king is dead. I mean, there's no way it's coming back, and you're just literally destroying the king side. The king side. Yeah, this should be an easy win because f5, pawn takes, king takes, b3, king 4, c4, pawn takes, king here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, king d4.
It'll take him forever. Then he has to move the
h4
king out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if that was a rook or bishop pawn, that might be a draw though. If this pawn was here or here, it might be a draw, I think.
And if you get to a7,
yeah.
Yeah. King 3, d4 check, king 3, king d5. No, what was the game like? King f6, you pick king f6. And you kind of repeated moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, king e6.
I was hoping. I was hoping he'll get bored and play something else. You know. I was trying. I was hoping he will screw up.
Yeah, it was a very interesting endgame. I mean, it was a very nuanced idea that this pawn on e5 could become weak after the undermining moves. It was very interesting. I put a couple of exercises. They are from the Dvorsky book. I don't know if you've seen them.
Let's see. White to move, I guess.
It's black to move. I'm sorry, I should flip the ball. Black to move.
Okay, I'll flip it. So. Wait. Sorry, I don't have the coordinate. So, wait. Black is going this way.
Yeah.
Because if you flip it, if you flip the board, it won't do it for me. You have to go to. Actually, I can change it myself. It'll let me. There we go.
Sure.
Okay, so we're going up. It's black to move here.
Yeah, it's black to move.
I don't know if I didn't do the whole book. I'm only like 15%. It's a big book, you know.
Yeah, no.
I'm taking a bit of a.
More than. Yeah, it has a lot more than you should even know.
Yeah, I'm taking a break from it. I just do it in a bit of a time. It's too much to do. Yeah, so I don't recall this. So black to move. I think it should be winning because black can do whatever he wants with his king. These pawns protect each other. So I think I can just do whatever I want. You know, even come here. I don't know. Well, no, I mean this is going to promote, but yeah, we can just move the king around, and if the king, I don't know. This just seems like the most straightforward response. I guess I can't take it because he'll push, but we promote with check, so that should be good.
Yeah, that has to be calculated every time.
Oh, wait a second. Wait, this is ringing. This is looking. No, this is starting to look familiar now, because I think G2 is ringing a bell for some reason. G2. Oh wait, that can't be right though. But hang on, this is looking. This looks familiar now though. My instinct was to just bring my king around because the king is free to do whatever it wants, but I'm recalling something about G2 for some reason, but that can't be right.
Yeah, G2 king F2, and actually black is the one in trouble now.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering about this because we can't actually take on C4. Well, we can, but the promoting with check, I don't know if it's. Yeah, because we're still going to. Yeah, no, that should still. That should still win because yeah, then we'll just go and stop. We'll just come here and stop his pawn after.
How is that line? How does it go?
Okay, boom.
King e2, I guess.
Yeah.
Staying still.
So king e2, and then well, yeah. So then we'll go king d6, and
king e3.
Okay, king back to d3, and then.
No, king f1 is. Yeah, probably.
King f1 you want?
I have to stay. No, I want to go back and forth. E2
Okay.
and e3.
Okay.
Because if I go back to f1, e3 is a problem. I can't go for after either of these pawns.
Then you can't move. Yeah. So king c5.
King e2 again.
Let me just flip the board because I'm wondering. No. Okay, so I don't know. It looks familiar, but I don't know if I did this one. I don't know what section you got it from, but because I only did about like the first 3 or 4 chapters.
Yeah, it's in the first chapter somewhere, and because it's the.
How do I forget this?
Well,
okay.
I don't.
Maybe you have a different edition. Maybe, I don't
know. No, maybe it's not. I mean, it was in the section. Pawn endgames.
Yeah,
it's not the first chapter of the pawn endgame section.
I don't know. I think I probably covered it. I'm ashamed if I forgot this. But I wonder if I'm looking at it. If I'm looking at it upside down, I wonder if I'm looking at it upside down.
The thing is, your problem is that this passed pawn is well defended, so your king is not entirely free to go. Well, to actually penetrate white's position. So we have to think, can we undo this somehow? Can we destroy that pawn formation?
Okay, let me just do this again. So king, I'm just angry that I'm forgetting this because I looked at these puzzles. I looked at the first few chapters many times, but okay, king e5, king e2, king d6, king e3, king c5, king e3.
Thing is, yeah, you can't actually penetrate. If you play g2, king f2, yeah, anytime you want to play king d4, this sits is just too quick.
You want me to break up that pawn structure? How am I going to do that, man?
Well, what's the undermining move you have?
Okay, well, we've got the pawn break on a6, but I don't see a6 and then b5.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. So we put the king on c5.
Not on c5. Then you can't play a6.
Yeah. So
because of b takes a.
Wait. So wait. What are we gonna do? We're gonna put it on c7.
Yeah, and even b7 because we have to defend the a pawn.
I don't think I did this puzzle, because I would have remembered that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, of course. It's probably a part of the chapter you can. Or I don't know if it's in this. Yeah, it's in the pawn endgame section, but it's a long one in any case. Yeah, I mean, you can undo the pawn structure because the white king is completely tied down to these pawns.
Yeah.
He can only move king e2, king e3, so you have free hands to go all the way back to b7. Play your undermining move. Of course, if he plays these seats, you're happy to go back and take the pawn. Now a6 or a5. And you're breaking up those pawns. I mean, b takes a6 is the only move. King 2, and now what do we do?
I think because we can act. Okay, so my first instinct was to bring the king back here. We can take as much time as we want. And then I was thinking of again breaking it. And then after he takes, I can stop both pawns.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's the main idea. Yeah. You only have to avoid b5 right now because of d6.
Yeah.
It's actually a draw. After king b6 it takes. We have the same pawns.
Yeah.
that defend.
That would, that'd be funny.
So yeah, he's so tied down that you can go all the way back. Now play b5, and you're actually destroying that pawn structure that seemed so solid, but it fell apart.
Yeah, that's
by me.
Yeah, that's a cute little one. I definitely didn't do that because I 100% would have remembered that. Yeah.
This one has a trick. There is another winning method related to what you were trying to do of taking advantage of these two pass pawns. This is an Arcane game. It's Keres against Arcane. He won with King G4. He played the most aggressive continuation. It's funny because it just goes to show who was playing as black, because this is in his style. He have probably found the other way because it's just technically sound and it's not that hard to spot, but he saw this king h3. Is that so? King g3 or g2? I think he plays g2 here. King g f2, yeah, like this. And e7, e3 check. This is how the game ended. King to g1, e2.
Yeah, I was just wondering about. I was wondering about. Oh, I see. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, I think Keres played king e2. Otherwise, black is promoting with check or checkmate. So yeah, king e2 promotes. He also promoted here. King f2. This can't be it. I don't exactly remember how it went, but apparently you can win in this way too, because this will be just too easy. Yeah, King g4 was winning too, as far as I know. And that's actually the option that
King g5? King b5, you mean?
King g4, because it's from black's perspective.
Oh, sorry, I've got it flipped. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was also winning.
Yeah, but the technical win with king e5 doesn't even need to be complicated.
And you get the psychological win too. So now your opponent is, for the rest of the rounds in the tournament, he'll be, he'll have nightmares about this. Yeah. Honestly, in a game, I think I would have done that, because I just know that these two pawns are untouchable. So I know that I can do whatever I want with my king.
You can keep trying, going back and forth.
Yeah.
He's completely tied down. This is a bit more. It's black to play and win. I should flip the board too, and you should too.
Okay. So black.
But I don't know. It depends on
black
how.
going this way, right? Okay.
Yeah, this one is a bit harder. It's harder to break up those pawns, I guess.
I don't think
it's not impossible.
I don't think I did this one. So this is similar.
Is in the tragic comedy section.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I look at everything. So first of all, these two pawns also protect each other. So the king can move, but we have to be a little bit careful. These are ready to roll. So first of all, let me think. If if my king comes here and then let's say I go to b7 and I push either way. That seems, that seems, I'm trying to see why that wouldn't work, but that seems to work because his king can't chase both of them. So we're gonna promote one of them. So I don't see why that wouldn't work, and nothing's going to happen here. So I think it's the same thing. We can just push here. So the tragicomedy. Let me guess what happened in the game. Really, they didn't go after that. Let's see, what did they do? Let me guess. I don't know. I don't think they would bring the king up. The only thing possibly they played g5.
Yeah, he played g5, so he let white exchange these pawns. Yeah, after king f3, even h4 is an idea to exchange the pawns, and he's also getting a passed pawn. There's no way black should allow this. I mean, there's no sense in moving this pawn. I mean, these two pawns are defending themselves.
Do you remember who was black?
They were two unknown players.
Oh, okay. It wasn't okay because I'm wondering what former world champion would play g5 here.
No, this time around they were just unknown players.
Yeah. Okay.
King d7, king f3, he still has to stay put, or play h4. It's the same. The thing is, if you play king b7 right away, he goes back to e4, and now
a6.
You have to be careful. That a6. Actually, let's black off the rook. White. I'm sorry.
Oh, is it because his king can help escort the c pawn?
His king is too close. It's already like.
Yeah.
Maneuver.
I was just going to say it. Yeah.
But you have to reactivate here. You have to play c6 first. So there's no f3 right now. And against king b6, king takes, hitting the pawn and threatening to go to d6. Red style. The king is going
both directions. Yeah.
2 places.
I'm wondering why. So here you have to play c6.
c6 is great.
Yeah.
White is still threatening to play this in any case.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. I mean, it's just the whole Veti idea. Even though I know it, it's so mind-boggling. So, just looking at if we bring in the king. I guess because the fact is we have to. We're actually it's just such. Every time I see it in action, it's so mind-boggling. It's one of the most mind-boggling things in chess, you know.
Yeah, it's incredible that the king can go everywhere at the same time through the same path. Actually, black is threatening to go all the way back with the king, and these pawns defend themselves. So, king d5, king b7, I guess is an easy win. You can also win by means of f3, and if c6, f2, c7, king here and king here. C6 has to be played first, so there's no access to b7, and then it's a draw. Incredibly, it's a draw. And here after h4, if you play king b7, king e4, so you're not in a position to play a6. Ideally, you like to play it when this king is on f3, not so advanced on e4. So with the king still on f3, he'll be just
h5, a5. I mean,
a5 is the same. He can take.
Is it the same? I get. Yeah. Okay. Um.
Can we lose a move so that we get this same position and it's white to play and he has
Okay.
to go back?
Okay. Well, I guess. Boom. King c8.
King c8.
Yeah.
We have the chance to triangulate.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He has to stay put. I mean, he has to stay. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. Um, uh, so yeah, we were just looking at this line after h4.
Yeah. Yeah, if you play king b7, king e4, you can still triangulate. But you might as well play king c8 right now. Because when he steps onto e4, then you want to play king b7 so that you force him to go back and then you play a6. And the ready-like resource is not there anymore. This one is a bit more nuanced than the last one. There are more tricks out there, but the principle is the same. If you get to undo this pawn structure that is actually acting as a screen so that your king can't go any further, and it doesn't let you just advance to support your pawns because there's always a passed pawn that can appear. If you undo this, then you're going to win in virtue of your passed pawns. But yeah, you need an undermining move to do the trick. So king e4, king b7, h3, of course he resists, but he can only move between two squares. And you have three, at least three, 1, 2, 3. So you're always going to be able to get the same position with white to play. So you do the triangulation again.
But can't we also triangulate on these three squares as well?
I guess it should work. Let me see.
Should be okay.
King b8. King b8 should.
Yeah. Same thing.
King f3.
Yeah.
King a8.
Yeah. It'll work. It'll work.
It works still.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he can only go here. This one is funny though.
Yeah.
And king 4, king b7, and that's it. Finally, he's running out of moves. Yeah, he can still sacrifice his pawn, play h4, and we go for all the same maneuver until he goes king f3, and finally we play a6. We undo this pawn formation, and we go to help these two pawns.
I think that the really hard part here is to understand that C6 Rati idea. That's the real thing that you have to identify here, which is a very, very difficult thing.
That's easy to fall for,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, king activity is huge in endgames, and undermining pawn structures is vital to get your king to activity normally. That endgame you played made me think of this. It was more nuanced because it wasn't easy to see that the e5 pawn could become a weakness so easily. But yeah, it was too far removed from the rest of his pawns. So by undermining it, white that was trouble actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that I simply missed e6 like 2 or 3 times was was pretty terrible. Yeah, or e5. Yeah. I don't know that was, and I think I was winning the whole game, and then I just threw that away at the end. Yeah, at least it was a draw, not a loss.
Yeah, I mean you even got the upper hand. At first, it didn't seem like anything much was happening in the end game, but then you got some nice squares for your king, and that pawn started to suffer. Yeah. Well, it's a good idea to go over some endgames and do the exercises because that the exercises from what Red Skills books, for example, are great. Most of them are really tough, though.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and it's really nice just the Lichess, their updated puzzle area where you can just drill endgames.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can even take a look right now. You might be surprised. I want to see your thoughts here. If you go to puzzles at the top,
Yeah.
and then at the bottom where it says puzzle themes underneath your rating,
Puzzle
click on that. Puzzle themes.
themes.
Yeah, click on that. It'll open up a new window.
I have puzzle, streak, storm, and
Oh, no.
race.
Okay, so yeah, go to puzzles.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then on the left-hand side, underneath your rating, it says your puzzle rating, right?
Yeah.
And then puzzle themes, click on that. And now scroll down. They're categorized. So you can, by motif, any type of motif. So if you scroll down, there's endgames. There's a lot of things.
Bishop endgames, it says.
Yeah, so here, phases, endgame. I thought there's pawn endgame. Yeah, pawn endgames. There's about 40,000 pawn endgames. So it's so perfect for for drilling.
It's great. I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And if you go back to the puzzle themes, you can go to the puzzle dashboard and it will show you like what you need to work on. And you can actually drill those certain types of motifs.
This is really advanced by Lichess.
No, it's really good. I think it's so helpful, right? So you could just sit there and drill endless pawn endgames. It's so useful.
Yeah, I would do it with queen endgames. I always have trouble with those.
I was watching today. I was watching from the World Cup, round 3, game 1, and I will show you in a new chapter here, just what it was like. People in the chat, can you help me remind me what his name is? It's the young U.S. He's like 18 he's like 20 years old. The U.S. player, I can't think of his name, and I can't remember. He playing, I think, some Russian guy, but I'll just put the position was something like this.
On the World Cup.
Yeah, World Cup. He was an American player.
Sure.
It's not. Yeah, Jeffrey Jiang. That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it was something. Okay, I guess we're right here. No, it's not Sam Shankland. It's Jeffrey Jiang, and the colors are wrong here, but I will do it with something like this and black. I'm just creating a board here.
Yeah.
And sorry, black spawns going up. Yeah, it was something like this, and even before this. So it was something like this. Actually, if someone, while I'm showing Alessandro this, if someone could link me to that game, that would be great. But it was they played like 100 moves here, and Jeffrey Jiang. So Jeffrey was like white. Jeffrey had just a queen, and he found like every move was like the only defensive computer move, and he was able to defend for like 100 moves, and it was just brutal. Which was it was astonishing. It was astonishing to me, and even before this position, it was like another like 40 moves, and it was crazy. And I was surprised that he could defend with just a queen. But at the very end, his opponent was able to win, but it took him forever to win, and I couldn't believe that.
That's the problem. Even if you know all the themes and techniques to draw, you have to be accurate forever. And at some point, you're just going to blunder. That's most likely. Even those guys, I mean, even if they are so strong, it's just impossible to keep hitting the right move every time. It's so easy to get confused, and you only need one mistake.
I know. But I was surprised. It was like 2 pawns and a queen. It was insane.
Yeah, the queen's incredible. I mean, with an open king, anything can happen. It's so hard. It's hard to defend, and it's also hard to win. That tends to happen. I mean, I'm usually on the wrong side of. I mean, if I'm 2 pawns up, I'm probably having a lot of trouble to win, and if I only have the queen, I'm in really bad shape, and I lose.
Yeah, someone in the chat said it was. I think it was Niles Grandelius. Oh, they gave me. Okay, he just sent me the link. I just want to show it here. Let's see if I can put in the PGN because I just couldn't believe it. Okay, it was 120 moves, and yeah, this was round 3. So let me just see if I can import the PGN.
Clearly, they both knew what they were doing.
Here we go. Download. I'll just show you very quickly. I just couldn't believe that how long he held off the game. So add new chapter, import PGN. Here we go. There we go. Check this out. So this was the game. So yeah, Jeffrey was black, and we'll just kind of skip ahead really quick. But wow. So Jeffrey is black. Yeah, the game went on for another 80 moves from here. Brutal. So brutal.
Wow, how he defended that.
Yeah.
It was 3 pounds down.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? And he was. It took his opponent another. This is only halfway. The game is only halfway done. It took another 65 moves here.
That's remarkable.
I know.
He's lost here.
I know. And you know what? White was very close to get 3-folding many times. It was unbelievable. Right? Like you would think black just resigns, but
yeah, the king is really in an unfortunate position. He has to give up the pawn, or else it's perpetual. It's incredible.
But still, like, check. And it's not 3-fold yet. Very close.
Oh, finally he got out of that.
Yeah. And not much. They only have about 30. Well, White only had about 30 seconds with increment.
This is awesome. This move is awesome. If queen takes, then check. And if you go here, queen check, and it's changed and wins. And if you go back, queen g3, and you exchange no matter what. That's impressive. That king h5 was critical, I guess. All the way back to h3.
Yeah, but he's not resigning.
No way.
Wow. But yeah, that's crazy because
it's obviously winning, but yeah, it's so hard.
Because I would probably resign if I was black in a tournament game, like. And then he played. Yeah, this was very interesting. You'll see he does. What black does is, and this was the move. The commentators were Grandmaster Ben Feingold and Daniel Naroditsky, and they were both saying, okay, King A2, but they were looking at the engine, and the engine said King A4, and Jeffrey played King A4, and the computer likes it, and they were both shocked that he found King A4. I think the idea is that it gives the ability to give a check to the king, but
I think the idea of getting this king as far as possible from what's happening here is that, I mean, if white exchanges queens, then that's it. Actually, you don't want your king closer to the pawns because that only ensures that white is going to trade queens. It's a bit of a paradox. You want an inactive king this time around. Uh, you're not going to be saved by any means just by bringing your king closer to the pawns. You have to avoid an exchange of queens. That's the only thing.
Yeah, what he does is this is his plan. This is what he does.
Wow.
And I think there were some stalemate tricks with the king on a8. Yeah, so here he goes. So it's just amazing that he's still playing. So
he goes all the way.
Yeah, he keeps going up. This is his plan. So, and I think this was I think the commentators liked that queen move. So avoiding queen trades. And it's just the game was so long. It's got to be exhausting for them. There he goes. And yeah, he's still playing though. And then I think it's just a matter of technique. But
yeah, queen c7 here.
Sorry?
Yeah, with a king on a8, some queen c7 might be an idea, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he's never in the obligation to take, so yeah, now it's amazing how Grandelius untangled there, because it was really hard to get this queen out of the prison. And now, yeah, it's 2 pounds.
Yeah, then he resigned. But I mean, oh my God, to go through all of that is so much work for white. You know what I mean? Like, for me, if I'm playing a tournament game, and I'm just going to resign here as
3 pounds.
Yeah, that's unbelievable that white still won, but black made him work for it. Holy moly!
Yeah,
brutal. That's just.
It's incredible that this king is in such an unfortunate position at this point that you have to give up the 7 pound to get out of it. That's remarkable.
Yeah,
that's also perpetual. If you go here, you can't get out of this.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's what separates the super GMs, right? Like they fight tooth and nail, and
yeah, they actually have the tenacity and ability to actually make a draw of this sometimes.
Unbelievable, right? Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, thank you very much, Alessandro. I know it's very late there. I'm very happy that we switched to Skype because people in the chat are saying it's so much better. Yeah, like your video is not
not cutting.
Yeah, it's not freezing and any of that stuff anymore. And the audio is really good as well. So I think we will definitely use Skype in the future.
Who can say?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for your time. And I think we have one more lesson, and I will keep playing these classical games. And now we've got something to shoot for. We have this a couple upcoming tournaments. So I'm looking forward to that.
Tournament. Yeah, excellent.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thank